got my easel, I got my ring light, which just so happens to be on a purple light setting. So what's super dope is I can change the light based off my vibe. Today I'm feeling purple and I think it looks good. And I think my camera should stay still for the whole session. And so I'm
excited and I feel relaxed, ready to party with the best of them.
And I hope you guys are too. And I hope that we can all get something from this, grow from this, learn from this, evolve from this, because that's exactly what it's supposed to be about. So episode 1 is the birth of Unapologetic. I did decide to change the title from Unapologetically Me to just Unapologetic because I already have 4 seasons planned for you guys. And so the first one is going to be called Unapologetically Me, and it's going to be about my ever-evolving journey to self-love, acceptance, and discovery. Season 2 is going to be called Unapologetically Them, and that's when I'm going to start incorporating interviews. I already have 10 people lined up. I even have backups in case they can't do it. And all these people are very important to me in my life. They're people that I look up to. They're people that I've known have been through lots of struggles, but have overcame them. And they are some of the most amazing, strongest people that I've ever met. So I'm already excited for that. The 3rd season, I want it to be Unapologetically You, because I want it to be about the audience engagement. And so anybody that watches, anybody that this sparks your interest, anybody that they think this resonates with, and that they want to share their story on how they became to be the most unapologetic version of themselves and willing to open up and share their struggles with us, that's who I want. I want you. I want you to reach out to me, and I will send you a questionnaire. I will send you all the questions that I'm going to ask everybody in all my interviews, and then we'll see how that goes. The 4th season will be Unapologetically Us, which is everything and everybody. So with that, like I said, this is very important to me to have audience engagement. I've been doing polls leading up to this, and thank you so much for everybody that's helped me with that, everybody that's answered, and this is what you guys are helping me create, and I want you guys to continue to help me create. I want to be there for you. This is not just for me, and that's why I changed the title, because I wanted to be about all of us. And it was also very important to me that I did not make it gender specific, age specific, because this is not just about a certain person's journey. This is about all of us. This is about the human experience. This is for everybody. At the end of the day, we're all made of the same flesh and the same bone. And I feel like there's just too many things in this world that drives us apart, that puts us against each other. And I don't want that. I want this to be a safe space where we can all understand each other's journeys, each other's struggles. I want us to be able to come into this with an open mind, open heart, positivity. I don't want any negativity. And obviously there is. That's going to happen, right? When you put yourself out there, there's going to be people that don't agree with you, that's going to say things just to be rude. And we're going to dive into why they do those things. That's going to be part of one of my episodes. And I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm a 40-year-old single mother living in a small town. But I feel like I've had so much experience. I've been through so much that I've learned so much, and I am now at the most confident that I've ever been. I believe it is probably going to resonate a little more with my middle-aged crowd, those that are in my age, in my era, because we're all at that same place. I believe that once you hit 35, you just start not caring a little more, and you start really sitting down and questioning what your purpose is. The 2nd episode is going to be called Midlife Awakening, because it's not a crisis, it's an awakening. It's you finding out who you are, who you want to be, what you have done, what you got through to get here. And that's why that's important to me. And I feel like the younger crowd, they might take interest, and that would be awesome, because that would be great to learn something that you have never experienced before, to gain confidence in yourself. My whole sole purpose for this podcast was to reach out to as many people as I can, to provide some kind of inspiration, empowerment. I want this to be a very positive experience. And I hope that everybody that watches gets something out of it. And obviously it may not be for everybody, and that's okay. And that's why I am doing the audience engagement. So you guys can help me, so you guys can tell me what you want to see, what you want to talk about. But this season,
it's all about me.
I'm in my selfish girl era right now, and I'm living my best life. I've never been happier. Obviously, I've been through a lot to get here, and that's what I'm going to tell you. That's what you're going to hear. And maybe that's going to touch somebody. Maybe that's going to help somebody get through what they're going through. And I really hope that it does. So let's get down
to the nitty gritty.
And I want to tell you how I got here. What started this? What inspired me to want to do this? And it's funny because my sister, she's a Gen Z, so we're a little different, but we're also kind of the same because she grew up with us. She got a little bit of millennial in her, but she teaches me new things.
She keeps me young.
You girls keep me young.
She tells me what all the, good music is that's out there, everything that's trending. I have my 12-year-old son, which I believe they're Gen Alpha, which teaches me this whole new language that I didn't even know existed. I thought we had crazy language. Those kids, I think you guys know. I don't know what half of these words mean, but I try to keep up. And so thank God I have them to help me, and they're also helping me through this process with the recordings, with the edits, everything. But it all started with my sister. She was in that era when YouTube was very popular, and so her and her friends would make their cute little YouTube videos. I wonder if they still have their channel, because if so, I'm gonna share it because I want you guys to see it, because it's
Super adorable.
and like how she evolved on her own path and her own journey, on her content and everything that she's been doing. And she's actually going to be my probably first interviewing guest, because even though she's my younger sister, I truly do look up to her. I'm inspired by her. I love her so much. That's my freaking child. We're 15 years apart, but we're so close. Like, we're best friends, and I just love that relationship. And she's the one that kind of pushed me to do this, because she kind of was doing her own thing with her vlogs. But to me, I didn't want to just record random things. If I was going to record, I wanted it to serve a purpose. I wanted to inspire. I wanted to tell a story. I do a My Girls Only story on Snapchat, and I know all my girls love it. They always look forward to all the crazy things I'm gonna say on my ventures and my experiences. But I also wanted to keep that very separate from this. I want to reach out to everybody, not just women. And I don't want to down talk men. I want to understand men. I am going to have male interviews, because
I don't know how they think.
a lot, like us genders, we don't know how the other person thinks, and that's our biggest struggle. So the only thing that we can do to get through everything together is to communicate and be open and tell each other and not be afraid, thus being unapologetic for your feelings and the way you're expressing them. Nobody should have to apologize for the way that they feel. And so we're gonna hear from both sides, because at the end of the day, we're all on the same side. We're all part of the human race. We're all trying to struggle and get through life together. And the more we hear, the more we see, the more we can understand. And I feel like that's so important on especially today's world, on how hard it is to just get through everyday life and just find out who you are as a person. And so my sister inspired me, kind of pushed me, like, you should put yourself out there. My Girls Only, all of them inspired me and pushed me, like, oh my God, I just love your stories. I love the way you share. Like, you need to share this with the world. My friend Rachel, we were friends in high school, so it was a really long time since the last time I seen her. Probably 10 years, probably since one of our weddings or baby showers or something. And my child's already 12, so yeah, it's been a long time. But I'm so glad that we came back in touch. We went to dinner, and I just started catching her up on my past 10 years of my life. And with that, she was like,
DeOnna, you need to start a podcast. Just because the way you talk, the way you are telling me this, I feel like I'm in your story. I feel like I literally lived the past 10 years with you.
And so I was like,
Yeah, I know, everybody says that. My sister says that. My friends say that.
but I was making excuses. I kept saying I don't have time. And I didn't, because I had a very strenuous full-time job. It was a normal Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, which is great. I didn't have to work overtime. I didn't have to work weekends. But sometimes when it got a little heavy, I actually really did have to work overtime a little bit. And I am a single mom. I'm doing this by myself. I'm taking him to school, picking him up from Boys and Girls Club. Thank God they have that after school care program for me since I get out of work late. I gotta pick him up from there, take him to his practices. So I was busy. I really didn't have time. I barely had time for me, but I also made sure that I put away time for me. That's always been so important. I feel like that's very important for everybody, especially parents, because it's hard. It's exhausting. After your real job, your job only gets harder. It does not end because your life revolves around those children. And so sometimes we do need a break. And thank God for our village, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to do that. My parents, I'm so glad that I've moved and lived closer to them, because I depend on them so much. And they understand it and they respect it, that I do need time to myself. I do need my self-care days. I do need my solocations. And they help me with that. So thank God. So I pray that everybody can find their village to help them, because doing this alone is so hard and I can never imagine. And I'm just so grateful and thankful that they help me. Now I do have time because I had to resign from my job. We're going to talk about that in the second episode, so I'm not going to get too much into detail about that. But it was scary. I went through a lot of emotion. I was very sad. I worked there for 20 years, like my whole life, straight out of high school. And it literally felt like a divorce. I did a short video on the feelings about that. If you guys want to check it out, it is on all of my socials. But I'm not going to get into detail because we're going to save that. But now I have time. That's the point. I have all the time in the world. Now my only responsibility is to take my son to school, pick him up, take him to his practices. In between, from 8 a.m. to almost 4 p.m., I get time to do this. I get time to focus. I get time to put something out there that I've always wanted to. My main priority, my main focus, my main goal, and what I would like to accomplish from this is just to help people and inspire people to tell their story and to be the most unapologetic version of themselves. Also, why I originally didn't want to do it is because I am a very private person. I like to be a little mysterious. I don't like to or want to air out all my dirty laundry, but sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's needed in order for people to understand what you're going through. And so obviously I'm not gonna kiss and tell everything. I'm gonna keep a little bit to the imagination. And who knows, maybe some of it might get thrown out in the process. If it does, guess what? I'm not gonna apologize for it, because it is who makes me who I am and how I got to where I am. So if it does, I will address it and we will get through it. That I'm not gonna pretend that I didn't do certain things, and I'm not gonna say that I'm sorry for anything. I know this sounds so horrible, but my son, when he was going through his sacraments, we are Catholic, he made his reconciliation, and he asked me,
what do you ask for forgiveness for?
And I literally told him, I don't go.
And he's like,
why? And I was like, because I'm not sorry for anything. I'm not sorry for anything I've said, everything I do, because it comes from me. It comes from my heart. It comes from my soul. It comes from everything. And so why should I be sorry? Why? I mean, I don't know if that's the best thing to teach my son, especially adolescent, but we make him a little more cognitive of his actions on what he does, so that he lives a life that he's not sorry for, that he doesn't have to be apologetic for, that it's everything that he wants and everything he says and does is his choice. So I don't know if it's good or bad, but that's what I'm teaching him, and that's who I am. There's certain things that I've watched and seen that have also inspired me, apart from my sister, my friends, Rachel, and been certain TV shows. which is Nobody Wants This, which is with Kristen Bell. It's a Netflix series, and she has her own podcast, and she does end up getting a contract and is able to make money from that. So I was like, oh wow, like I didn't know that you could. That's how old I am. Like, it was a form of making money. And like I said, that's not my priority, but it's good to know that it's a possibility. That kind of pushed me like, okay, well, maybe this isn't really for nothing. Like, maybe I can really do something with this. Maybe I can go somewhere with this. Maybe I can write a book from it. Maybe I can do TED Talks and forums and like go out there and talk to people and inspire people, change people's lives. My favorite influencer is Chris Perry, because just the way that he talks about women, and I just wish that every man would listen to him. So please, if you're watching this, go watch Chris Perry. You will learn something. You will become an amazing man if you follow, and I pray that he practices what he preaches, because that is the kind of man that everybody deserves. Obviously, it goes both ways. You have to be a good woman to have a good man. That goes without question. He is just so unlikely for men to think the way that he does and be outspoken about it and talk about it and want to, help other people. And I love that. I love him. Of course, my favorite podcaster of all time, if anybody knows me, I think you guys already know, which is Bailey Sarian, obviously, right? Because I'm obsessed with serial killers. I love her podcast. I love how hers is very up close. That's why I did do a poll on what you guys wanted to see, if it was up close or whole body. So I kind of did a little bit of both. So I'm not like just face, but I'm still got my background. I still, could see a little bit. The main reason I didn't want to do my whole body is because I am not wearing pants. I refuse to wear pants. I want to be comfortable, I want to be cozy, but I still want to look a little cute, I gotta get the little Nella Von Lou spice up in there with my frohawk and my jewelry. And then I also need to be a little bit Buffalo Bill, comfy, cozy. That's what I do. And nobody's here. When I used to work from home, I would straight up be booty ass naked. Obviously, I can't be booty ass naked in front of the camera. I mean, I probably could if I sucked down low enough. You wouldn't be able to see anything. But, I don't want to have to worry about flashing people. I'm 100% not wearing pants. I do not think I'm going to, because I want to be comfortable. One of the other podcasts that I really did enjoy was Jada's Table Talk. I'm not gonna lie, the only reason I ever watched it is because I was very curious and involved in the whole Jordan, Tristan, Kylie, Chloe drama. And this is probably airing out a little bit of my dirty laundry because I completely resonated with that whole situation. And I am not going to give names. I'm not going to go into detail, but the people that know me know what I've been through. And it was a very horrible, tough, crazy time in my life. I do regret it. And that I am sorry for. That I am completely sorry for. And I will own up to my actions. But that's why I watched it, because I wanted to know. Sometimes you need to hear the other woman's side. You can't just think that it's all her fault. I feel like everybody needs to take responsibility for their actions. And so that's what kind of turned me on to like the whole podcast thing, because that wasn't really something that I watched. I just stuck with my regular, series, episodes, all that. And I was like, oh wow, this is pretty deep. This is interesting. Like, I feel like this is good conversation. I hope that might happen to anybody, with the things that we go over with, the things that we talk about. And there's just so much more to come. I'm super excited. I hope that you guys will all come with me on this journey. I hope it's a ride. I hope it brings out a lot of emotion, and I hope that I can entertain you in the process. So here's to episode 1. Tune in next week for episode 2, which is called Midlife Awakening. Also, drop a crown emoji if you're done and you're ready to be the most unapologetically version of yourself and you're over being perfectly polished.